What would actually happen if we advocated for ourselves? So I had an experience, one of our advisors not too long ago had shared with me an experience that's probably a lot more common than we'd like to admit, and one that I've actually personally experienced myself more than once. So the advisor had just finished a solid meeting, longtime client, a decade or so of working together. Everything went smoothly. In fact, at the end of the meeting, the advisor asked what I thought was a thoughtful question. He wanted to take the client's pulse. So he simply asked, "Hey, how do you feel like we're doing?" And his intention was simple, to check in, to make sure everything was on track, to create a space for honest feedback. And the client had some really nice things to say. They were really happy with the team, communication style, the accessibility, all the right things. Then, like tossing kind of a little grenade into what was otherwise a peaceful conversation, the client added, "Is there any chance you could reduce your fees?" So the advisor told me that, while the client asked it in a very polite and sweet way, he couldn't help but feel a bit annoyed, right? Even a little offended. I get it. Trust me, I've been there too. You think everything's going well, it's great. And suddenly a request like this shows up out of nowhere. So he asked me a few things around what would I have done, or what would I have answered, or would I have answered it differently? Is he reading into it too much? Should he really be feeling annoyed? Or was that completely out of line? So first, let's talk about the feeling. So if someone asks you a question, especially politely, and you feel offended, well, not on them, right? That's on you. Marcus Aurelius said it best. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain isn't necessarily due to the thing itself, but it's your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. It's a choice, always is. And it's bad one. It's a bad one if you let it fester. So when I asked how he answered, he said he thanked him for being comfortable enough to ask, and then explained that a couple things, really. Our fees aren't the cheapest in town, but we also don't gouge people. In that he also felt the fee was a fraction of our value we deliver, considering the planning, the service, the strategies, and all the time that saves the client. That's a good effort. But if we dissect that a little bit, the first thing that I would say is, when it comes to the line, "We don't gouge people," that language is something that should never really leave your mouth. If you catch yourself saying it or some variation of it, stop, resist it. It's defensive. It creates sort of an unnecessary doubt, and it unintentionally signals that you're not fully confident in the value that you deliver. And the second, the advisor's response revolved around the concept of service, communication, accessibility, responsiveness. The truth is, service is not a value proposition. Client service is sort of like a bare minimum, right? It's like personal hygiene. You know, Clients expect good service. They're entitled to it. You don't get extra points, for example, if you shower every morning. But if you don't shower, well, so I'd say the real value is what we actually charge for is actually two things. Number one, sophisticated financial planning that the client could never do themselves, unaided. Now, as important as this is, I still believe it accounts for a relatively small part of our value proposition. The biggest part is the behavioral intervention to save the client from their own worst instinct. period. Okay. If you ever feel yourself leaning on service to justify the cost, stop and recalibrate. You're swinging at the wrong pitch, right? So how should you respond to that request for a reduction in fees? Well, the way I would do it, the way I have done it is, and as he did it initially, thank them. I'm delighted you felt comfortable enough to bring this up and ask. Two, and this is the big one, advocate, don't defend. Our fee covers the full depth of the strategic planning that we do for you and your family. And most importantly, the role that we play in protecting you from the emotional decisions that could seriously harm your financial future. Our value is not measured quarter by quarter. It's measured by keeping you on track through the hardest times. Three, reinforce fairness and consistency. Our fee's the same across the board, including my own family members, and we do not discount it. And finally, importantly, when your account declines, our cost goes down too. We are aligned with you through all market conditions. It's short, it's clear, it's firm, and most of all, it's confident. If you don't advocate fiercely for your value, nobody else will. If you get defensive or you try to over-explain, you reinforce the idea that maybe, just maybe, there's something that you need to apologize for, and there isn't. You're not expensive, right? You are invaluable to the right client. And if you think about it, the entire reason that clients achieve their dreams, the reason they retire, the reason they put their kids through school, the reason they live with dignity, it's all because we kept them from making catastrophic mistakes. So if you think about that in that context, what could be more valuable than every time a client raises a sensitive issue like fees, see it for what it is. It's a huge opportunity, an opportunity to restate your value, an opportunity to deepen trust, an opportunity to plant flag even deeper in their mind as an indispensable advisor. They're not insulting you. They're giving you a microphone. So let's use it.